Matt Reeves.
Yes.
Is a phenomenal filmmaker. All right? Phenomenal storyteller. We all know this. However, we on this show in years past and others have pointed out that expeditious has never been one of the words you would use to describe Matt Reeves. There have been several times that he's had projects that a lot of people would go, now it's delayed. Where is this thing? Where are we in the development of this? And that has happened. It's happened with the Batman franchise itself. And now those questions are being raised up again because this movie, which was supposed to come out in October, there's that month again, in October of 2025, has now been pushed to October of 2026, a full year. After what year did the Batman come out? I'm going to say 2022? No, probably 2021. I'm going to guess. Anyway, Ray will look that up.
Sorry.
And as Ray's looking that up,
22 is right.
22.
It was 22. So we're a couple of years on now. This comes to us from the folks over at Deadline. Matt Reeves' The Batman 2 is no longer opening on October 3rd, 2025, a new launch pad for comic book movies. Instead, it is going a year later on October 2nd, 2026. We hear the new date is due to the aftermath of the dual strikes. Bullshit. Sorry, something in my throat. The spacing will also give some distance from James Gunn's Superman, which is hitting cinemas on July 11th, 2025. That film will kick off Gunn's and Peter Safran's new DC Studios, the first phase titled Gods and Monsters. All right. So first of all, that this is getting delayed by a year due to the strikes, fuck you, stop lying to us. That's not. Because you know what? Thunderbolts got affected by the strikes, and it seems to be thing. I mean, a lot of projects have been affected by the strikes. Your first movie came out 2 years ago. You had a lot of time before the strikes. You, as an individual, could be doing a lot of thought processing.
Well, there's the Penguin show.
But there's the Penguin show. But you already knew the Penguin show was there.
Yeah.
Right? You already know the Penguin is there. So I don't buy for a minute the idea that, oh, this is due to the strikes. A lot of projects delayed, like affected by the strikes, not all of a sudden moved by a year. So I don't buy it. My personal speculative thought on this is just another case of Matt Reeves working slow. We've heard very little in the way of any script updates. We've heard very little in the way of any kind of development. I think, and you know, some might say, John, what is wrong with an artist taking their time? Hey, listen, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that, but call it what it is. You know,
could it also be that he's working on the Arkham series for DCU?
But again, that was something that was already on the books. Yeah. Right? Like this was all already, it's not like out of nowhere they just announced a Penguin series or just out of nowhere they announced this or that. Like this had all been on the books. This Batman thing has had years to gestate at this point. And I would even be okay saying, look, you got to move it a couple of months. I get it, but a full year at this point? Now, look, I 100% believe this movie is coming. The first, The Batman with Robert Pattinson, was ridiculously successful, destroyed most expectations that people had for it. It was absolutely incredible. I love the film. Made a hell of a lot of money, nearly $800 million.
Oh, I love that people said it flopped because it didn't make $1 billion.
Well, I mean, yeah, but those are stupid people. So, I mean, everything today, it didn't make $1 billion? Flop. Anyway. I mean, all success, it's going to happen. It will happen. And I cannot wait for the Penguin series. It looks amazing and all that kind of stuff. Now, the one thing that maybe I could see that would logically explain this is I could understand them saying, hey, we got a little delayed because of the writer's strike, but it's not like you were supposed to go into production today. But it was going to delay us a month or two. But we at Warner Brothers really want that October release window. And we're not going to be able to make the October release window. And we don't want to release it in January. And we don't want to release it in February. And we've already got summer plans for the summer of, 2026. And so it was just, we couldn't make this October. So we decided we'll take the next available October. That would be frustrating to me as a fan to hear, but it would have some logical sense to it. I guess I would assume that. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Miracle Made. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. When they arrived at our house, my wife Ann loved the feel of them so much, she couldn't even wait for me to get home to put them on our bed. Miracle Made has self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. Miracle Sheets also have incredible comfort and quality. Miracle Sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. So go to TryMiracle, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you will get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to TryMiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. Anyway, Rob, am I being overly pessimistic here by calling bullshit on them saying this is a result of the strikes? How do you feel about the full year move? What's your observations on this?
Well, the funny thing is I interviewed on this channel on Designing Hollywood, Greg Fraser, who shot the Batman. And I asked him about that. I said, what about Batman 2? And he was very diplomatic. He said, look, I don't even ask anymore. When they send me a script, they send me a script and they tell me when we're going to go and we're going to go. And I said, I don't know what, I said something effective. So have you seen a script? And he said, there's just, whenever they tell me we'll go. And I was sort of reading between the lines and I sort of got from him that there wasn't a script yet and that he had no idea and he wished he did know. Because he did a phenomenal job shooting that movie.
It was gorgeous.
That movie is incredibly well photographed. I mean, he's just killing it between that and Dune and The Creator and just an amazing DP. And I have to take him at his word. And I think probably the strikes maybe they stopped work on the script. I don't know. But I would think that a lot of it was the turmoil at Warner Brothers. They didn't know what they were going to do with the Batman 2. I really think that focusing on what James Gunn wanted to do with comic book fatigue, with Warner Brothers losing a ton of money, and Batman only making, $750 million, I'll bet you that there was some question as to whether they were going to make the movie at all.
But you were there with me. We were at CinemaCon, not this most recent one, but 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And the head of Warner Brothers brought Matt Reeves out on stage. And they, the studio, Matt Reeves, they were like, oh yeah, they now put up the big screen, The Batman 2. This is 2 years ago.
I know.
And that movie alone made almost double what any other DC film made in the previous 5 years.
I just think that there's been a lot of turmoil. I mean, they had a succession of disappointments last year. They have James Gunn. They didn't know what was happening with the studio itself. I think there's been so much turmoil in the industry that they've had to take a good hard look at what they're trying to do, and maybe cooler heads prevailed. But I think it's better. Here's what I think, John, that they've now got an actual release date and they're committing to something means those internal problems have been sorted out. I really think that we should be, again, optimistic about this because they want to make it. They're going to move forward. They know they had a good project. They know that the second one will probably be even better. They probably have now seen what Joker 2 looks like, and they realize that, okay, Joker 2's probably turned out great, I would imagine. And that was sort of a bellwether in terms of what we can do with this. And now that we've got these things, I think they're in a much stronger position now, and now it's all like full force. Let's go forward. I think they really know I think they have a better idea of what they want to do.
But why did it take this many years to do it? From when they came on stage, we're just a month away from the 2-year mark of when they came out on stage at CinemaCon together, say, Batman 2 is coming. I understand, wanting to take your time with developing a story. But it doesn't take 2 years. And it shouldn't take 2 years when you've already got your core mythologies and you have all the history available to you that you want to do. It just shouldn't take that long.
But I don't think they also expected movies like The Flash to underperform the way it did. And I think that they were looking into the whole idea of it might have had a flashing green light and they were ready to move forward. And they're like, we gotta rethink this entire.
And of course,
thing.
remember, The Flash, every DC movie that's come out was not this Warner Brothers movie. That
Right.
was the AT&T Warner Brothers movie. So
Yeah.
you would think that the failure, though, this is my thought, Rob, and I maybe I'm wrong about this, but you would think that looking at the failures of Shazam and the failures of The Flash, and by the way, 2 movies I liked, particularly The Flash. I liked it a lot. But when you look at the failures of those things, the underperformance of Aquaman 2 and on all kinds of, you would think that would just add even more priority to getting a proven winner like Matt Reeves' The Batman that made money, that had huge critical response, huge audience response. You would think that would just make them double down on making sure that they get that in the pipeline.
I agree with you, but I think they probably felt the same way about Aquaman 2. Remember that was pushed a year as well, and that was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
They pushed it from, and they had to reshoot it. I can't even imagine. I would think that also had something to do with it. Here, Aquaman was supposed to come out Christmas of 2022.
And let's not forget, at the end of January of this year, we were getting reports or rumors that the actual movie was canceled.
Well, no,
which were debunked.
That was completely
I'm just saying,
debunked.
but even talks of that, because whether it's taking that long, where people are just assuming and just spreading those things. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this comes out, though.
See, I think this is more of a Matt Reeves issue than a Warner Brothers issue. I think Warner Brothers would love to have this movie in the pipeline, ready to go. So I personally think it's more of a Matt Reeves thing, but that's just speculation. I mean, it might be dead wrong about
I also
that.
wonder how it's going to affect James Gunn's plans to do a Brave and the Bold movie. Does that mean that movie's delayed further, too?
I doubt it.
Are they going to kick it down the road more?
I doubt it. I mean, but they don't actually have a release date for Brave.
No,
and
they
Bold,
don't.
do they? Yeah. So, I mean, so they could say it's coming out in 2028 and it technically wouldn't have been delayed, I suppose. But we'll see how this kind of unfolds. All I know is that right now I'm very excited for Penguin. Very, 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 very excited for Penguin. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? We got to wait an additional year for the next Batman film. I don't personally feel like there's any excuse for this, but there could be some rational explanations that they're just not making public right now, which is totally possible. For now, are you looking forward to Penguin? Maybe you didn't even like Matt Reeves' The Batman this much. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.